Okey, baik. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Berjumpa lagi dalam sesi The Belief kali ini. So dalam kesempatan masa yang ada ni, jom sama-sama kita berkongsi sedikit tentang um, apa nama ni? Positif aura. Kita berkongsi aura positif. Jadi untuk sesi kali ini, saya terfikir nak buat satu slot berlainan sedikit di mana saya ingin menggunakan kalau anda nampak kat dalam skrin tu, saya letak gambar ni 10 powerful phrases for positive people. Okay, buku ni ditulis oleh kita punya co-founders iaitu Rich DeVos lah ya. So actually buku ni point-point ni dah lama sebenarnya Rich DeVos terbitkan, tulis dan sebagainya. So saya terpanggil, saya rasa apa kata kalau saya berkongsi dengan anda, mungkin saya membaca kepada anda, at least selain daripada saya boleh faham, anda pun boleh dapat poin yang sama. Jadi saya ingin, dalam kesempatan masa yang ada ni, saya ingin buat slot barulah dalam The Belief untuk kita cubalah tengok selama mana kita boleh habiskan buku ni. Dia ada 10 sebenarnya, 10 phrases tu, kata-kata yang positif ni. Moga-moga dia menjadi satu nilai tambah untuk kita semua. Okey, baik, mungkin satu hari saya cuba baca dalam 6 page ke macam tu, tengoklah. Sekarang kita tengok dulu macam mana kan untuk slot masa yang ada. Baik. Okey, so untuk malam yang pertama ni, sesi podcast yang malam pertama, topik malam ni tentang 10 powerful phrases for positive people. So lebih kurang malam ni kita akan bercakap bahasa Inggeris lah ya. So most of the time saya akan mix of the languages. Tapi mostly kita akan speak in English. Saya akan baca lah. Saya akan baca. So kita sama-sama lah faham, ambil pengajaran daripada apa yang Rich DeVos tulis kat sini. At least kita dapatlah point-point good idea yang kita boleh manfaatkan untuk kehidupan kita dan juga perniagaan kita semua. Baik. Okey, so kalau anda nak komen, nak tanya, boleh letakkan di komen. InsyaAllah kalau ada kesempatan masa, saya akan cuba respon tentang persoalan yang anda timbulkan. Baik, okey, so saya tengok kita punya. Baik, untuk phrase yang pertama iaitu I am wrong ya. Okey, I am wrong. Okay, saya baca dalam kat sini dalam page yang ketiga ni, I am wrong. Okay, I choose to begin with I'm wrong because it's the hardest of the phrases to say and genuinely mean. It's though to admit when we are wrong, even to ourselves, and harder still to say out loud, I'm wrong, especially to those whom we care for most or want most to care about us. I learned that lesson many years from my wife, Helen, was scheduled for cataract surgery. The doctor said she could arrive in the morning and go home the same day of her surgery. That sounded fine to me, but Helen said, no, I don't want to rush in. I want to go in the night before. I want to be there, relax, and be cared for. And I don't want to have to get up and hurry in the morning before I have my eye surgery. Thinking only of my own inconvenience, I mumbled and grumbled about the extra time and the cost of her being in there overnight. But Helen went in the night before, and the next day the doctor said it would be okay for me to scrub and watch the operation. I was able to observe through a magnifying device as the surgeon delicately extracted the old lens and created a framework for the new artificial lens. Watching this intricate process, I suddenly realized what a big deal this was. The need for Helen to be rested and emotionally relaxed struck me. I was thinking only of the convenience of getting in and out as quickly as possible. After her surgery, I apologized to Helen. I told her I was wrong and she was right. I've had to do that a lot of times too because she's really bright lady and I've been known to be wrong a few other times in my life. But at least I'm learning that if we are more sensitive to the views of others in the first place, we are less likely to put ourselves in situations where we'd have to say we were wrong. Saying I'm wrong is meaningless unless it comes from our heart, not just our lips. That often requires a genuine and profound change within ourselves because we need to accept that we can be wrong. Even if the admission hurts, we need to realize it's simply human nature and that everyone makes mistakes. We also need to realize that we can have a positive impact on the lives of others when we admit to them that we were wrong. Our outward expression of admitting wrong can serve as an example of our willingness to change and can inspire others to change in positive ways. A positive impact stems from our admission that we were wrong or our thinking was wrong. I'm wrong are the two little words that can help improve our own positive attitude. It's all part of this shift in our decision to create a positive atmosphere instead of a negative one. If you've been wrong, say so. I'm afraid it's becoming too easy to come up with examples of organizations that create negative atmospheres because no one is willing to say, I may have been wrong about that. You absolutely right. How would that go over in a union negotiation or during a debate in Congress or at a dinner table after a family argument? I know from experience that such an admission will take a lot of negative air out of the balloon. Admitting you are wrong is especially difficult for people in leadership positions. The leader is supposed to be visionary, the bright one who covers all the angles and blazed the trail for those better equipped for following than leading. Unfortunately, even leaders at times have to admit they are wrong. I had to be shocked into that reality as the co-founder of my company. I would propose a new method or introduce a new product, confident that I've looked at every possible angle. Someone will ask, did you think about this or that? Or sure? Of course, would be my initial response. Of course would be my initial response. But thinking back, the fact might have been that I really had not thought about it. I had missed it completely. Someone with a different point of view had noticed something that myself hadn't thought about at all. This type of situation possesses a choice. Preserve your pride by covering yourself and not admitting your oversight, or simply say, "You're right, I'm wrong"? Somehow, I missed that. The ability to admit you were wrong allows you to correct mistakes and work together toward solutions. Admitting you are wrong creates opportunities to learn from mistakes and to take advantage of other person's point of view. I had not shown respect to my employees by seeking their opinions. Because I choose to admit I was wrong, I learned the value of getting my employees' perspectives and discovered the importance of holding regular meetings in the early days of our Amway business. We called these meetings as Speak Up. Every few months, we would select a representative from each department to meet with me. They were free to ask any questions, submit suggestions, or even complain about anything, from something as big as glitch in the system to something as small as the food in the vending machines. Speak Up was a way of letting your employees know that we didn't have all the answers, that we were capable of mistakes, and that we respected their opinions. We acted on employee suggestions from those sessions to build a better company. In doing this, I set myself up for the possibility of having to admit I was wrong to my employees. It was one of the smartest business decisions we ever made. Our stubborn will to be right all the time can drive a wedge between friends or family members. At times, the urge to be right can lead to argument and aren't worth winning, and in hindsight are just plain silly. Jay Van Andel and I maintained a friendship and business partnership for more than 50 years. We could not have achieved that rare accomplishment without reaching agreement on all our important goals and business decisions. Because Jay was older, he served as chairman, and I as president on a board of two. We agreed both of us votes were needed to approve business decision. In the early days of our Amway business, I was driven by ego to want a bigger car. Distributors, now known as independent business owners in the North America and Amway business owner in the most international markets, whom we had sponsored, were driving Cadillacs, and Jay and I were still driving Philmouth and DeSotos. A car dealer in downtown Grand Rapids had a beautiful, elegant Packard, and I very much wanted to own. I bought it as a company car without asking Jay. I had to apologize for that one. He passed it off. He said, "That's okay. You made a decision. You enjoyed it. I got my way, but I violated our own corporate policy of both of us agreeing on capital expenditures." So, what huge business decision did we ever find to argue about? Believe it or not, it was deciding the dress code for the restaurant on the top floor of our new Amway Grand Plaza Hotel when it first opened in the early 80s. One of the most insignificant decisions in our partnership led to one of our biggest disagreements. Cygnus 26 stories about downtown Grand Rapids in the tower of our new hotel was the first elegant restaurant in the city. The debate was whether we should maintain a formal restaurant with a dress code including jackets and ties for men, or be less restrictive and open to more dinners and perhaps more business. That was the only time in our long partnership that one of us had used the veto word. Fortunately, we had a strong friendship, and the Cygnus decision could fade into a triviality. But friendships and even family relationships have eroded or ended over even more trivial arguments. For most people, having to admit you are wrong dents your pride and your ego. It's one of the most difficult things most people will ever have to say. But it does get easier as we grow older. When one hopes we have more achievements than mistakes and are not so delicate and easily threatened. With age, you've made your share of mistakes in life and have admitted to yourself and others that you are far from perfect. When we are young and trying to establish ourselves, we fear admitting a mistake. The reality is admitting mistakes is liberating for themselves and others and is a mark of maturity. Our admission is a sign of strength that we can be humble and aren't too big to admit when we are wrong. People appreciate humility. Nobody likes a known at all. Okay, guys, I think that's all for tonight. For this moment, now speaking lah. Sebab bahasa ni kan. Okay, so maklumlah bahasa dalam bahasa Inggeris, so saya baca dalam bahasa Inggeris lah. So kita akan sambung lagi. Malam ni kita baca dalam berapa muka surat ni? Ingat nak baca 3 muka surat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 muka surat lah. So insyaAllah untuk sesi berikutnya, sesi berkongsi 10 powerful phrases for positive people akan disambungkan untuk sesi berikutnya. Part 1 masih belum habis lagi. So kita akan sambung lagi untuk phrase 1 belum habis lagi. Kita akan sambung part yang kedua. Okay, so kita dah 11.30. So